Hey everybody, this is Stephen Ament. Welcome to my exorcism.io screencast. In this video, I will be working through the acronym exercise. We are going to be converting various phrases into their acronyms. So for instance, here's an example. If you don't know what an acronym is, portable network graphics converts to PNG. So let's grab the command. Okay. All right. We're going to run the test, and it's going to fail. Got to be in the right directory. Let's try that again. Boom. We're going to fail, of course, because there's no acronym.rb file. So I like to have it on the left. That's why I kind of do it this way instead of just opening it directly. And in between a couple of these videos, I'll probably figure out, I think I knew at one time how to get Vim to swap those, swap the panes and what's in each pane. All right, of course we have the error because we have not initialized the class here. So our test does not know what that constant is. And now we have the undefined method abbreviate for the acronym class. So I'm going to go ahead and just solve that particular error message, even though it's not going to be enough to make the first test pass. It is enough to get past that error message. So as always, I'm letting my tests guide me. But that, of course, is going to I've got to define it at the class level. So let's open up the eigenclass with the class shovel self block to define our class method, which fails because all of our examples pass a phrase. They pass a string. And so let's just call this phrase. We're going to require it. It's expecting PNG, so we're just going to make that test pass and make our first test happy. All right, there we go. Test number 1 is happy. Test number 2, though, is going to fail because we're returning something completely different. Okay, so this is enough to get us to actually do something to get this behavior working. And as I said in a previous video, the way I like to work with these, I don't like to get too clever at the beginning. I like to step through these tests and start by doing the simplest thing I can think of that will actually work before I go and try to make it good code or maintainable code or anything like that. I used to call this, or sometimes call this, dumbing it out. And that's what I'm going to do here. And it's perfectly okay to do. In fact, I find it really helpful to separate out those different jobs. I think those are different mental things. The first one is sort of the act of writing, and the second one is the act of editing. And if you've ever heard writers talk about the process of writing, they often will say something like writing is rewriting. Getting the first draft out, you have to do that, but you're not really shooting for anything good. You're getting the raw material out. Or it's akin to getting clay on the wheel for a sculptor. You just got to get the clay on the wheel first. And the act of writing is very much the act of going back and sculpting that clay into something better and better until it's the final product. Well, code is the same way. Beautiful, pristine, clever code doesn't just come pouring out of most of our fingers. Some people might write that way. Most of us don't. It's writing good code, maintainable code is really the act of rewriting. It's the act of sculpting. It's the art of refactoring. And so, let's just go ahead and do the simplest possible thing that will actually solve for this. So let's see, we've got 2 phrases here. And we have, portable network graphics becomes PNG, Ruby on Rails becomes ROR. So we want to take each word and get the first letter, and we want it to be uppercase. So, okay, let's think about this. What can we do in Ruby here? We know we want it to be uppercase, so we can do Ruby upcase. Let's separate this out on lines to make it a little clearer. clearer. Upcase. Okay. We want to split that into words. So what can we do? If we say split, then with no arguments, then Ruby is going to take your string and split it on white space. And so that's going to give us, that will give us the words. Now I have a feeling that's not going to be good enough as we get farther down. But given the 2 tests that I have right now, I want to get these tests to pass. So this is all I'm going to do. All right, so we've got our individual words. And we want to convert each of those individual upcase words into the first letter of each. So let's see. Whenever I want to take an array or a list and do something to each element and return something else, to me that makes me always think of map, the map function here. And so let's go ahead and make it long. There's probably a shortcut form we can use for this. This is a word, and what I want is the first letter of that word, the first character of that word, and then I want to join these guys back together. And I believe that's going to pass. Okay, ta-da. Both of those pass. But our next test is going to fail. So before I do too much refactoring, oh, it didn't fail. Let's see. Oh, I bet I know why. Let's go ahead and just check this out. It's not because of the split, it's because of the map. If I take that string in first out, just because there's a comma in there, I think that's just going to get tagged onto the end of the second word. Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's going to get solved in the map because I'm going to take the first character. So I think there'll be another test here that is going to cause us to rethink how we're splitting, how we're getting the words. Let's see. This should work. CMOS is going to fail. So here we go. This is the one that's going to cause us to do something because this little guy right here is not going to split. It's going to be, we're going to get CMS returned instead of CMOS. There we go. Expected is CMOS, actual is CMS. So what can we do here? So instead of splitting, let's see. You can give split in Ruby. Let's look this up. Man, split. Is that going to work? Sorry. Ruby split. Man. Oh, sorry. RI split is what I'm looking for. Here we go. Ruby implementation from string divides a string into substrings based on a delimiter. And so if the pattern is a string, then its contents are used as the delimiter. If it's a single space, it's split on white space with leading and trailing white space and runs of contiguous white space ignored. If it's a regular expression, string is divided where the pattern matches. So we can give it a pattern. This is one option. I don't know if it's the one we're going to want to use, where we want it to split on a space or a dash, and I think this will work. We can also, tell you what, instead of that, we can tell it we want to split on a non-word character. And that's going to work. And actually, I think this is probably what we want to do. We want to split on any non-word character. That slash uppercase W, lowercase w is regular expression for a word character, which would be, there we go, which would be upper or lowercase letters or a numeral. I believe what makes that up, but the uppercase W will be a non-word character, and I think that's probably going to be what we want it to do. This should be covered as well for a very long abbreviation. I don't know why that would make a difference. And then consecutive delimiters. Yeah, this should work too. So at least the way our tests are defined, this is the functionality that we need. So now what I like to do is step back and ask the question, is this good enough? Let's pause, and I will answer that question and tackle a refactoring in part 2.